there, thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this adorable Magnolia stamp called Tilda with an Armful of Flowers. Isn't she cute? I love her. I will put a link to the card kit down in the description box and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound Solar Bright cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. So let's start by giving our girl a background. For that, we're going to use BG Quadruple Zero and the Colorless Blender. We're going to start with our BG Quadruple Zero. And we are going to just start down here at the bottom and flick away from our girl. I'm going to try to go around these flowers because I'm going to leave a little bit of those white. Get up here between her hair. And we're going to work our way up this side. And then when I get up here to her head, I think I'll go a little bit above that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to go back down this way to her shoe. And right here between her neck. And she's got a little bit here between her leg. Right, and then I'm going to take my Colorless Blender and I'm just going to swish over the top of that. And I like doing it first, that way you don't have to worry about touching her. You're not going to be transferring any of your color from her out here into the background. And that gives her a nice pretty blue. Now let's give her something to stand on. For that we're going to use G94, G82, and G20. And we're going to start with our G94. And I'm just going to go across. So let's start over here. And then I want to go underneath the first shoe. Color in between here. Got a little dab there on her shoe, but I think that'll be okay. If not, we'll erase it later. And then we're going to add G82. And then we're going to add G20. Then I'm going to grab my G94 again, and we'll darken this back up a little bit. And then I'm going to add a little bit of some grass. So let's go over here, maybe some on this side. And then I'm going to add some G82 for grass. And some on this side. Let's work on her skin next. For that, we're going to use E21, 00, 000, and for her cheeks, I'm going to use R02 and 01. So I'm going to start with my E21. And let's start down here on her hand. So let's go underneath of her thumb here, and then around on the bottom of her hand, and this side. And then I'm going to add E00. And I just want to flick up from my E21. And this one. And then I'm going to fill it in with my E000. And I like to go over the entire hand. And then we'll go up here and we'll do her neck. So again, we're going to start with E21. And I'm going to do underneath of her chin. And then for her face, let's go up here underneath of her bangs. Or her hair. Then we're going to add E00. And then I'm going to add E000. And then I'm going to add some cheek colors. Let's go with R02 first. And I'm going to use these dots as my guide, so I'm just going to go right here from the edge of her cheek and pull out here into our little dots. Same for this side. And then I'm going to add R01. Then we're going to do a second coat for her skin tone. So let's do E21. And then we're going to do E00. And then we're going to use E000. I like to go over her entire face. For her hair, we're going to use E44, 42, and 50. We're going to start with our E44. And then let's start over here on this little curly Q. And then it kind of folds out right here. So let's put a little bit there, a little bit here. And then here it's coming back out of that. She's got like a little short braid down here at the bottom. So we'll do a little bit there. And then let's do some right here where it's coming up from her cheek. Like that, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to add some to her roots. And then we're going to do a little bit on her bangs. And let's see. I want to bring this kind of curls over, so let's do a little bit in here. Okay, then we're going to do the other side. here by her roots and her bangs. Then I'm going to add E42. And then we're going to add E50. I'm just going to go over all of her hair and fill it in. And then I'm going to go add a second coat of my E44. Yeah, I think I'll look a little bit more right up here. Next, let's work on her headband and her shirt. For that, we're going to use W3, YR18, YR09, YR16, and Y38. We're going to start with W3. And we're going to do a little bit of that on the side of her headband. So let's do there, and a little dab over here. And then for her shirt, let's do a little bit on her sleeve. And she's got a couple little wrinkles right there, so I'm going to do those. And let's go down here in between the flowers. And then over here, let's do this side. So again, she's got a couple of little creases there. And go around your flowers. And then for the top, let's do a little bit underneath of the line. Okay, then we're going to add YR18. We're going to put a little bit of that up here. We just want to go, I'm going to just go right over the top of my W3. And I'm going to do this side. And then a little bit right here. All right, then let's add YR09. see what we got. Right here's this part of her shirt. Kind of hard to see in there. And let's do a little bit above the line on her shirt up here. Then we're going to add YR16. And then we're going to fill in the rest with Y38. Let's do the leaves on the flowers next. For that, we're going to use the grass colors, so G94, 82, and 20. We're going to start with our G94. And I'm just going to find all the leaves and do the little line that's running down the center. There's a couple over here. And I'm going to call this one a leaf, just because I colored it orange. That will hide that. And is there any more hiding in there? I don't think so. Okay, so then we're going to grab G82. And we're just going to add a little bit of that to the leaves. And then we're going to fill them in with G20. And then we're going to use this to go in between the flowers. So let's go in here and go around all these little cute flowers. And then I'm going to take G82 and just dab it in here just a little bit in between some of the flowers. Kind of dot it around. It looks so quite so light. For the flowers, we're going to use B97 and 91. We're going to start with B97. And I'm just going to do a little flick away from the center of each flower. I'm going to try not to color the center because I'm going to put a little dab of yellow in there. I'll just go around each one. You can see the ones up here a little bit better, at least. The center part. Oh, there's one right up here. I almost missed him. Then we're going to grab B91. And I'm just going to add a little dab of that on there. And I'm going to try to leave a little bit of white just at the end. These smaller ones are kind of tough. And this one over here. For her pants, we're going to use W3, YR24, YR23, and Y32. We're going to start with W3. And let's go right along the seam here. And I'm going to bring some of these lines out just a little bit further. And go underneath of her little knee there, and her hand. I gotta remember to do that basket too. This way. And then the inside. Then we're going to add YR24. And we want to go right over the top of that W3. Then we're going to add YR23. Fill in this little dab there underneath of her pants there, or underneath of her flower basket. And then we're going to add Y32. And as long as I got this out, I'm going to come back to those again in a second. I'm going to do the center of these flowers. And then I'm going to grab YR23 and give these a little bit more of that. And then we'll go over that with Y32. Got a little bit of a flower basket down here. For that, we're going to use E44 and 43. I'm going to start with E44. And I'm just going to do the little lines that are already there. Just go down the center of the little line. And then I'm going to fill it in with E43. So that leaves us with her boots. For that, we're going to use E44, 43, 42, and 41. And we're going to start with E44. And let's go with this side over here. And I want to go across underneath of her pants. And then I'm going to bring this. Look, I covered up that little green spot right there. That was perfect. And then we're going to go down this side like this. Then we're going to do this side. And we better go over the top of this. Then we're going to add E43. Then I want to add E42. And then I'm going to add E41. I think I'll add a little bit more of E43. And how about E42? And then a second coat of E41. Then I'm going to add E44. So there is our Tilda with an armful of flowers all colored up. Isn't she super cute? Then again, here's my finished card. So on my finished card, I have, of course, put some Spica glitter pen in her hair. And then I added some Sharpie white paint pen to her eyes to give them a little dot. And I also used my multi-liner to kind of blacken them up a little bit. Then she is popped up. And these flowers and these hearts are on top of the mat for her. And you got this cute little doily back here. This thing's wonderful. Look at all that stuff on there. Awesome. And then in the center of the flower here, I use some of that Nouveau Jewel Drops and Limoncello, I guess it is. And it's kind of opaque. You can see through it. So it's kind of cool. Something new. Thought we'd try it out. And this little sentiment here is from the CC Designs Mini Thanks Sentiment Set. And you will get just this one sentiment in your kit, not the whole stamp set. So if you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you had fun coloring today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!